Kia ora, I'm Keith Niwa, Rugby, Rugby, Rugby.
Kia ora, I'm Rino Walker, Rugby, Rugby, Rugby.
Kia ora, I'm Rino Wilkinson, Rugby, Rugby, Rugby.
Those are the fools that you'll be listening to on this full-time rugby special.
So it is almost upon us. That's right, it is almost Rugby World Cup time. Pretty exciting stuff, Ra Walker?
Oh, this Keithy and I, look, the nation's been waiting, how long? 3 years for our opportunity to go for the three-peat. So let's hope we don't put the kibosh on the boys, and hopefully we can get a third World Cup title in. But that's still a long way off. The game still has to come, and everyone's looking forward to kick-off.
You're pretty excited too, Reno?
Yeah, man, excited being the main word. Been a long time coming, we've been going back-to-back for the last two, and hopefully we can get to three-peat. And our team's looking pretty good over there, been there the last week or so. But yeah, I am excited for the game, but also excited for Japan hosting this tournament as well.
Yeah, they're really obviously very excited. There's been huge numbers of people just going along there to watch some of the teams train. It's been pretty awesome, eh?
Yeah, totally, mate. And you read in the headlines today, at least 96% of all the games have been sold out. So a record crowd, massive stadium, so much has been put into this, and wish I was over there. And I know you guys would love to be there as well. Just knowing that it's a nice country, friendly country, clean country. But, man, they've endorsed and taken rugby like it's just like nothing.
Absolutely. Some of the welcomes that they've had, especially the All Blacks being welcomed with haka from some of the Japanese kids, that's been pretty awesome, eh, Reno?
Oh, totally. And the New Zealand point of view on this the past 4 years has been part of the marketing. Every time they had there was a game not so long ago when New Zealand went and played over there at a real nice stadium. So, yeah, you're right, the haka was huge. The All Blacks themselves are seen as like, I would guess in maybe the Japanese sense, as a god of the game of sport of rugby. We love it with a passion in our country. It's a religion to us. But the Japanese just see them like as idols. And when you take a look at the influence of New Zealand former players in coaching behind the Japanese structure, some of the players in the actual team as well. Mate, New Zealand's got a massive injection with Japanese rugby.
How do you think, Ra? How do you think that the World Cup will go, bro?
Yeah, well, it already seems like it's going to be a success, Keithy, with the ticket sales and the popularity amongst the Japanese. But, like me, obviously winning the World Cup for a third time for the All Blacks is the goal. But I've always been about the big picture, and that's the spread of rugby globally. And, it is starting to take off. And what I like about the first time it's been held in the Asia region is the fact that, China will probably be next. And once they pick the game up, 1 billion people over there, that's a huge market, a lot of money. So, the game that we love and call a religion here in the country, it's only going to spread like wildfire.
I mean, also, what if it gets to the United States, eh? I mean, that's obviously a huge market to tap into, eh, bro?
Oh, exactly, Keith. And the States has always been like the sleeping giants, but it's going to be a hard market because they've already got American football. That's their national pastime and love. But look, the rate rugby is growing, and as we see in Japan amongst, a lot of the fans and the young kids over there, and as I made mention, hopefully to China, America will sort of fall into line. It's only a matter of time because it'll come down to the almighty dollar or the yen or whatever, which is what professional sport's all about nowadays, sadly.
Yes, well, that's very true. It's going to be one heck of a World Cup, though. Who do you think is some of the teams, apart from maybe New Zealand, South Africa, the ordinary teams? So, Ra, who are some of the teams to look out for? In the smaller teams to look out for, bro?
Well, I'm interested in the likes of African nation and Namibia, and also the new kids on the block, so to speak, the Russians. I don't think they stand too much of a chance of progressing further up the food chain, but it'll be interesting to see how their rugby develops during the tournament. And of course, you can't go far from the hosts, the Japanese. I think they're going to try and put on a big display for their fans. It's in their country, so keep an eye on the red and whites.
Kind of like how they did it in the last World Cup. That was just an amazing, wasn't it, Reno? That upset against South Africa. It was just absolutely huge, wasn't it?
Yeah, that must have overmarred some of the actual Rugby World Cup back in 2015 because of the Japanese easy beaters, as we would know, and especially a powerhouse like South Africa. So, yeah, and then the other one prior to that would have been England not even making the quarters, especially on their home country. And the money invested was huge. But, yeah, no, any team can win on any day, mate. Namibia, they've got to take on Italy. They'll have every chance. I don't know. It's going to be good. You talk about the minnow teams. Good on the minnow teams. It is great to have these teams into the World Cup.
I agree. Absolutely agree. The thing is, now I reckon why they put that game first day, Japan versus Russia, for obvious reasons. Japan should win that. However, if it's an upset, do the Japanese got to watch out, or what do you reckon, Reno?
Oh, totally. You would hope the Japanese would win it. Host nations, every country that sends a host is the first to open it up. And Russia, well, it's a whole new commodity to them at this level of World Cup rugby. Anything is possible at the game, mate. We see what you touched on earlier. Japan beat South Africa. So, yeah, good on the Ruskies, eh? Get in there.
What do you reckon, Ralph? The Ruskies upset the Japanese. There could be a lot of, upset people. What do you reckon?
Well, probably Keithy, because I think, as the boys made mention, there's no coincidence that match being set up between the Japanese and Russia. Hopefully it'll be a good start for the host nation in the tournament, and a win is expected, even though the Japanese didn't fare too well in the Pacific Nations Cup this year. But up against Russia, an unknown quantity, probably lower down the scale in the European competition, it should be a win. Well, we hope. If it doesn't go to script, well, then there's going to be a lot of unhappy Japanese walking around.
Yeah, indeed. Now, of course, on Saturday, Australia go up against Fiji, and also France, Argentina. But all eyes will be on New Zealand against South Africa. But should be an easy win, one would say. What do you reckon, Reno, for the Australians?
Well, you talk about upsets, mate, and I'm going to predict there's your first upset.
Okay.
The Fijian team will get into their flair, into the swing of things, and just pick the Australians, I would say. There you go. I'll call that upset.
What do you reckon, Ralph?
But the other one could be Argentina over France. But yeah, Fiji, mate. Go, bulla, bulla.
What do you reckon, Ralph?
Oh, yeah, look, I'm like Reen. I've got to back our Pacific Islands neighbours, the Fijians. They're capable of anything. And look, they've never beaten the Aussies as far as I'm aware, but they are capable of pulling that proverbial white rabbit, which is the colour of their jerseys, Fijian jerseys, out of the hat. So I think that's going to be an entertaining game. And if the Wallabies or the Wobblies don't have their game face on, the Fijians could well run away with it, and it'll be bulla all the way to the carver drink, Keithy.
Well,
I actually thought I'm waiting for you to come up with a carver saying now. They're going to carver them up.
I think, well, I'm kind of with you, because I do want to be with you, because I'll be honest, it will be great if Fiji could actually make an upset there against Australia. That would be just awesome. Seeing the coach Checker grabbing what's left of his hair, and he hasn't got any of his head, and ripping that out. Of course, he'll be ripping the skin out off of his head too, probably. But quite frankly, reality says that isn't going to happen, eh, Reno?
Yeah, you're right, mate. The reality. Look, the brain talks Australia, but the heart is with our cousins just down the road, the Fijians.
Yeah. That's what I reckon. But it could be an interesting game. Argentina up against France. Kind of depends, eh, Ra? Which France kind of shows up to this one, eh, bro?
Well, as we know, that's the French, Keithy, which is why I don't think they've won a World Cup yet. But, their moment is coming, and I don't think it's going to be during this Japanese event. But, watch the Pumas. Look, they've had quite a good season, and the last few years have been quite team building for them. So they could well, pull that rabbit I've been talking about out of the hat and, sneak up on the French and bite them on the backside as Puma cats do. So my money's going to be on the Argentinians. And look, getting back to our man Checker with the Wobblies, he's one of the most animated coaches. And look, I'd pay good money just to see the guy when he loses the plot.
Me too.
He's so colourful.
I know.
Look,
I love
it. He's a hard case.
I love
Oh, we
watching
love
him. I love watching his team lose. I love watching, well, not just watching his team lose, but watching him and his reactions after the game when his team loses. I mean, it's something awesome to watch, isn't it, Reno?
Yeah, he's such an animated character in their box. You know, he's just all go, and he seemed to have held himself recently pretty well. You know, he was pretty just Sydney on the edge when they beat us over in Perth, the All Blacks, and then when they got a hide in Eden Park, it was like a reality check to him as well. But no, he's no longer like that guy who normally would throw everything out, throw the toys out the cot. But he's pretty complacent at the moment. So we'll see what can happen if the Fijians win. I think his toys will be out of the cot.
South Africa and New Zealand. What do you reckon? First of all, Ra?
Well, you know, I think most of us will be hoping the All Blacks come away with not just a win, Keithy, a good win to start the campaign for the Men in Black, because, you know, I hate to say and to be like a psychologist or anything, but usually those first-up wins usually do play a big role in how the final outcome eventuates. So if we can set the foundation, the platform for the rest of the tournament, and put up a good score against the Box One, that'll probably do them the world of hurt for the remainder of the tournament. But hopefully it will sort of give our players a good, workout, conditioning, and set them ahead for some of the other tough matches we'll have as we approach the quarters and semi-finals. So I'm gonna predict the score now, Keithy. I'm thinking 29-7.
Reno?
I'll just bounce back to their French-Argentinian game. You know, if you're like us, all rugby fans listening to us talk here, us three guys would love to be in the crowd with the France-Argentinian game.
Yeah.
Not just for the rugby, for their walking there. You know it, boys.
How
and
true.
Most guys will be watching the fans, and that is a true comment.
Yeah, hey, boys, you know that post I put on social media a little while back about some of the Argentinian female fans? They've got some of the prettiest female fans, you know, in all codes, to be honest. So no doubt they'll be over there in force, not understanding the game of nature, but just sort of in that Latin party atmosphere.
And the French women aren't too bad either. Oui.
yeah. Oh, bonjour. Comment allez-vous?
On display. Yeah, that's massive beauty on display.
Absolutely. Too bad we couldn't book ourselves. Too bad we couldn't book ourselves into that over to Japan, which is over in Tokyo, Tokyo Stadium. Yeah, should be a great game.
We wouldn't be sitting there watching their game. We'd be watching something else. Anyway, you asked me.
Yes. South Africa, New Zealand.
About the main game we're looking forward to. New Zealand, South Africa.
Yep.
Mate, both teams have met this year. Had a win, a loss, and a draw. Mm-hmm. And this is it. This is the big game. This is the biggest game of the lot for the first round of this World Cup. Both teams will be going for it, hammer and tongs, because they want to start the tournament, like Ra said, with a win under their belt. And then everything should sail on through pretty good. Two powerhouse teams, one going for the three-peats, one's trying to get another World Cup in their cabinet. I don't know, mate. This is going to be a hell of a game. I hope the All Blacks can do what they've done in Australia in Eden Park and turn it right around and upset the South Africans. But, wow, I like Ra's scoreline, actually, 29-7. Big game. South African team strong. It's not that often you go for a formidable South African team. Yeah, first up, Erasmus has been a winner, been a coach. He's done it all with the team. So, big nation to play for, our team, a country, our Prime Minister will be there as well. Mate, it's a big game. But
what's your score?
All the way All Blacks.
No score?
Score? Yeah. Okay, I'll go 42-5 to spark the Rugby World Cup off.
Okay, cool.
Big time. Big time. They're going to kick it into action. It'll be well worth their week building up to it.
Okay. I'm actually going to put some money on this. I think it's going to be a draw. And it will probably be, that game will probably be then a final? I reckon that could be the final as well, eh? So if it's a draw, they could both go out into the quarters, semis, then meet again probably in the final. What do you guys reckon? What do you reckon, Reno?
Yeah, I like your thinking. Look, if I put this into perspective, 1987, 24 years later, 2011, we won it on our home soil. 24 years later. 1995, South Africa, 24 years later, 2019. You might have something there if